Thank you. I don't know why I just thanked that person. I don't have to thank her for saying recording in progress.
You don't have to thank anyone.
I don't have to thank anyone. You're so right. You're so right. Okay, I'm just thinking because the plan was to have our test on Monday, but I just remembered that y'all have the second part of the US history exam. And you'll probably be done by this time, but even so, it would be horrible to go from one test into another. So I'm just kind of rethinking next week a little bit. Whoa, that's a long time. Hi.
Hello.
Hey. Did you hear the news?
Yeah, what the news?
Okay.
Oh yeah, shoot him a note.
Well, he already knows.
Yeah, I don't know how he got it. Yeah, if you got it, did you pay somebody? Did you pay somebody?
I didn't know.
I was like, there's no way somebody said all that. Did you vote for this?
I voted for you, yes. I can't have been.
Why?
I can't have been the only one though. Like one person's vote doesn't.
Why on earth would you vote for him?
He's great. He's great. I know. I have voted for both of you before. Yes. Tickets for graduation. Has whoever?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I probably never got one vote.
I'm sure you've been voted for. I feel like Wash has probably voted
He's
for
probably
you.
voted for me, yeah.
I know Miss Kathan has voted for you before.
I know Miss Kathan's voted for me.
Um,
I'm a cool student.
I don't know, you know, it's got to be more than one person's vote, which, Nate, did you say Stover voted for you too? Okay.
He was the first line, he said. Or whatever. I don't know how it's lined up on that, but what are we doing today?
Reviewing for the test, but I think I'm gonna have to push the test because y'all are gonna be doing the second part of your
History thing?
yes.
Yeah.
On Monday.
Well,
This is English 3.
I
So
may
I
not even
think
have to
what I'm
take
gonna
it, to
do
be honest.
here.
Depending on what grade I got on the
She said if it's a general consensus, not just one person's gonna be like,
there's no chance I'm taking both tests.
well,
Who gives a state test and then makes their own test? Kind of dumb.
that one actually counts more than
Yeah, I
the
know.
state test.
But
Whatever. Yeah. We don't do good on either.
everybody better do that. That probably doesn't make
No, this is actually plenty
oh,
of
gosh, yeah, I
time.
know. I like it like this.
You look very Italian.
Yes, I do. I don't really want to get a cut, to be honest. I want to go down more.
Here's what I'll do.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mine is, I got so much hair now that like it's
Wait.
curling up in the back now.
Wait, when am I
Yeah.
introducing? Yeah.
Next year you need to tell all of them.
Oh gosh, I use a lot of products.
You don't even know what my grades are. Just tell them.
Well, it really doesn't matter about grades. It's more about like what you're doing as a person.
What's up, Isaiah? I haven't
And
seen
y'all
you in,
haven't
like-
voted for me?
I voted for you early this year because I thought it was really cool that you were like organizing Zooms to meet with your class just to be social.
Yes.
I thought that that was worth it. And I told Miss Kathan about that and I know that she voted for you too.
That test is just too long.
I know that I voted for you because of that, because you've gotten involved.
Yeah, it is.
I don't. I got one more year, and if y'all don't make me honest,
And that's another thing. Like, I think Nate has deserved it a lot of times, but this is literally his last chance to get it. So I tend to vote for seniors just because, like, if they've never, and then I specifically don't vote for people who like get a lot of recognition as it is. Like,
yeah.
I don't vote for Bryce, Peachy, Michael, Dom, or I think I voted for Dom one time this year. But like people who get so much recognition anyway,
You need to call everybody in this school vote for CC.
I'll lobby for it.
If I don't make $2 month,
What school you
You'd
playing?
be
at any
mad.
point next year, whoever is making a speech next year at graduation, I'm taking a speech from them. I'm gonna have a few words for all y'all.
Tell me where you're going.
Who's number one in your class right now?
All right.
For what?
Like who? Like grade wise, who would be the valedictorian?
Gosh, no, not me. I'm not even seeing you, but like.
Hell failing.
Oh,
Not me.
let me let LeBron in. He's the only person.
It's probably him.
It's probably not. Nope, it's Sarah O'Connor.
Of course it is.
Where am I? Where am I on the list?
I am very at the bottom.
There's no way.
What is
Where am
it? What are we looking at? Who am I?
I just don't believe that.
Around 11.
Uh-huh.
Number 11.
I just don't
My
believe
name?
Let's see. James, what are you?
Yeah.
I also don't know which one of these counts.
All right.
Sorry, James, I'm letting her
No,
see
you're
your,
good.
your stuff. So I don't know if you're 8 or
I
9,
don't care.
whichever one counts.
Let's
And also
go.
you won't
I'm
be around
both-
next year.
for both
So.
of them,
Yeah, I'm
both
going.
of them,
It's 11 o'clock.
Huh?
both of them, I'm 11 out of 12.
Uh-huh.
What does that even mean? Is hello good?
No.
No, it's
Wait,
like,
everyone's in the class?
yeah, everybody's
No,
here
like-
except for you.
That is
Is a low is single number good? Or is that like
Like number 1 is good. Number 1 is the
better than her?
best.
yes.
That's what
Oh, what you guys talking about?
your class ranking.
yeah, I'm 8.
They have rankings?
Yeah, that's how they determine valedictorian. Valedictorian is the top in your class.
Oh,
So
what's
they
my
just
ranking?
passed out of our whole time here.
Yeah, your whole high school.
And
That's what it says right now.
Miss McClellan, what's my ranking?
Let me see.
oh,
And then I'll take attendance.
you kidding?
Okay, so I was just explaining, LeBron, there's 2 different things and I don't know which one counts, but on one you're 8 out of 12 and on the other one you're 5th out of 12.
That is.
Guess I'm number 5.
I don't know. I don't know which one counts.
That is. I do
Is
not-
CC mad because I'm number 5?
No, I'm not mad because you're number 5. I could care less about you right now.
She's mad about where she is in the
I'm mad
ranking.
at where I am right now. That is, I don't believe
I
that.
wonder who's number 2. It doesn't matter. Nate, where are you supposed to be right now?
Supposed to be in history, but like I'm not like I'm finished.
But you don't want to be?
No, it's like he said I could leave,
Oh,
but it's like I mean, it's like I didn't want to be a strings. So
Yeah.
when we wrote history, I took that like with Big Nudie.
okay, I see.
And like
Yeah.
fast forwarding. So she's like,
I see.
I don't want to be a professional, so you should like get past that come down here.
So
When is that?
Seventh period. It's like
Oh.
my least favorite class.
We're just working in 7th period today. Okay, so guys, I'm moving your test. I was gonna do it Monday, which I have said, but it seems like some of y'all feel like you're hearing that for the first time. But I didn't realize until yesterday that you have a second World U.S. History EOC. James, will you close the door?
Yeah.
So it's not really, even if you're done by this time, which not all of you might be, it wouldn't really be fair for you to come out of one big test and come immediately into the other. So my plan for now is to give you the test on Monday and you can choose to work on it Monday or not, but we'll work on it all day Tuesday. I just pushed a couple of things and it'll be fine. I'll probably keep you on Wednesday a little bit later than I usually keep you on Wednesdays, but that'll be fine. We're still going to review for the test today, and we're going to do that first and foremost by a Kahoot. Now, this Kahoot is exactly the multiple choice section of the test. So if you do well on the Kahoot, you'll do well in life. Yes. It's not bad. Oh, wait, I didn't take attendance. Alyssa, James, Jenny. LeBron's our only virtual person today. Cece, Cade, Zane, Randall. Everyone is here.
Y'all did LeBron so good.
I can't tell you that. I can't. It's literally illegal for me to tell you that.
Y'all did LeBron.
Legally tell you what?
Who is below her? I can't tell you anyone else's class rank. I can just tell you your own. Yes.
Somebody else's class.
Yes, although, well, I'll tell you later because I have it up here.
We can figure it out on our own.
I can't, but I did. Like, who's gonna be upset that I told you it was number one? Sarah O'Connor's number one. Sarah's in their grade, not your grade. No, you've only got 3 women in your class. Peachy, Kinsey, no, 4. Peachy, Kinsey, Kayla, and Mia. And Mia skipped a grade, so I forgot about her for a minute. Oh, wait a minute. Let me share my screen so LeBron can participate. A lot can change in a year.
You know what? It's fine.
A lot can change in a year. Plus, some people in your grade are leaving. James, David. I know.
I don't even know if that's going to.
He's going to the boarding school in Asheville where Zach LeClaire went, if that is helpful at all. Gatsby.
Next year, senior year,
I know.
if somebody comes in next year in our grade, I'm gonna be real upset.
My mom went to school one more time.
To be fair, this boarding school sounds kind of great. Like, they just do like outdoor stuff and go biking all the time. Yes.
I better do
Did you hear me yesterday? Like when I was in class?
Did I hear you?
I was in a podium on PlayStation. And
Oh.
my mic was unmuted and I was cussing up a
I did not hear that.
That's good.
All right. No, we didn't do anything. We played Jeopardy yesterday.
And I played second on my own.
Where's this in? Yeah, let's get logged into the Kahoot. It's 15 questions and they are the 15 multiple choice questions from the test.
Wait, so all they have to do is 16 questions and then probably like 2 essays.
5 short answer and 1 paragraph.
That's not a lot. I would do that on Monday.
Yeah, that's.
I didn't want to do the final, but I was so bored I had to.
So bored you have to do a final. That's pretty bad. I'm going to teach y'all in 2 classes next year.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, you can eat half your sandwich. Ricky Bobby. I love Ricky Bobby. This is her first year. Nate, you're playing this book you haven't read?
It's such a big Friday and they called it 8 today, right?
I'm sure they'll call him today.
What's the last thing I ate? Yep.
Yeah, there's no way you're.
Yep, last
You
thing I
got a
ate.
year.
My name is the last thing I ate.
All right, I'm gonna give you 1 more minute. Actually, I'm gonna give you until I finish cutting out these things, this 1 page. You're all in?
I don't like much to talk about.
All right. Gatsby. I know you've never read it. Although I don't know why Mr. Casey didn't do it. Which of the following people attended Gatsby's funeral? Let me move that too so y'all can actually see the question. Only 1 person other than Nick, and it was Owl Eyes. Yeah, Daisy was long gone by then. She went to Chicago with Tom.
That was me.
What does he see?
CC and Glurs. What favor does Jordan ask Nick on behalf of Gatsby? To tell Daisy about him living nearby, to get Tom out of the house, to invite her to tea, or to invite her to one of his parties? You remember?
Right.
Yeah, because then Gatsby came over too, and Gatsby arranged to like have his grass cut and stuff.
Right. I'm on the podium.
Nate's on the podium. You're in second. He's never read this book. Why was George Wilson going to take Myrtle out west? Because the Valley of Ashes was making him sick and he needed clean air, because he knew she was having an affair and wanted to get away from her boyfriend because she wanted to go away in order to fix their marriage, or because he knew their marriage was rocky and wanted to work on it. Oh, yeah, good. Yeah, he knew that she was having an affair with somebody. He just didn't know who. This is hilarious. What physical aspect of Gatsby appealed to Nick the most? His flannel suit, his kind eyes, his smile, or his pink suit? He described it a lot, and then Alyssa was like, man, he really loves Gatsby.
You weren't even here. I read it along with the majority of the book.
Yeah, it was that smile that made it seem like you were the most important person in the world and that you were understood exactly as much as you wanted to be understood. Oh, Nate. How does Daisy disappoint Gatsby when they're in New York? She says they're going to run away. If they're going to run away, they have to take the baby. She says she doesn't love him or Tom because they're forcing her hand. She says she wants to stay with Tom, or she admits she cannot truthfully say she never loved Tom. I know some of these answers are kind of long, but they'll be easier to comprehend on the test.
I have not got one back yet.
I got it right.
Nate's on the podium again. What set Nick apart from the other guests at Gatsby's party? He didn't personally know Gatsby. He was not drinking. He received an invitation, or he didn't want to be there. Oh, only one person got it right. Hey! Nobody else ever gets invited. They just show up. But Gatsby's butler brought him a teal invitation. Bootlegging. Why does Tom break Myrtle's nose at the party in their apartment? She was talking about Daisy. She threatened to leave him. She hit him first and he retaliated, or she tried to steal his money. Oh my God, that was so evenly divided. She was like, Daisy, Daisy, Daisy. And he was like, keep my woman's name out your mouth. And she was like, I'll say anything about anybody I want to. And then he hit her. He's a bad guy. How did Wilson know that the yellow car belonged to Gatsby? An eyewitness recognized it from all the parties. He admitted it in order to keep Daisy safe. Tom told him, or the police tracked it down. Bum bum ba-doo-doo. Bum bum ba-doo-doo. Bum bum ba-doo-doo. All right, most of us. Yeah, Tom ratted him out. How? Nick finds himself becoming attracted to Jordan despite the fact that he knows she is his cousin, not attracted to him, married, or a liar. To be fair, he kind of flirts with his cousin. It's just innocent flirting.
The answer. I actually don't know.
Only one person did. She's a liar. She got caught up in that cheating scandal. in the golf course. Gatsby tells Nick that Meyer Wolfsheim is his father, a dentist, the man who rigged the 1919 World Series, or a bootlegger.
I did the wrong one.
Why would I slip that?
He's the man who rigged the 1919 World Series. He thinks he's a dentist because he's got cufflinks made of human teeth, but he's just shady. I know, right? What does Gatsby want Daisy to do? Tell Tom about their affair, tell Tom she never loved him, run away with him, or divorce Tom and marry him.
Okay, yeah. I'm such a baseball movie. Exactly what that was.
Really?
Yeah. The White Sox, Black Sox.
That's so funny.
Yeah, I'm like.
Tell Tom she never loved him. Remember, because she can't. She's like, it's not fair to say I never loved him because I did, but I loved you too. And he was like, two? What? It's not good enough. During the first dinner at Tom and Daisy's house, chapter 1, what causes a disruption? Tom slaps Daisy, Jordan mentions Daisy and Gatsby, and it makes Daisy sad. Tom's mistress phones the house, or Tom hurts Daisy's finger during dinner.
I think I found the best name. The commissioner of the band, that his name was Kennesaw Mountain Landis.
That's a great name.
Kennesaw Mountain Landis.
I love it.
You do.
Only one person.
Oh my God.
Yeah, she called during dinner and Tom went to take it. And then that's when Jordan was like, I thought everybody knew Tom had a girl in New York.
Oh, that's, yeah.
What is Gatsby doing when Nick first sees him? Having lunch with Wolfsheim, hosting a party, stretching towards the green light, or creeping in Daisy's bushes?
I close my eyes and think, so if I get this tonight.
Only one person stretching towards the green light. He's at the end of his dock and he was like, oh, I was going to approach him and say hi and introduce myself, but he seemed busy. It's a tight race there between the two of you. What does Daisy say is the best thing in the world a girl can be? Rich, a beautiful little fool, in love with a wonderful man, or the belle of the ball? This is one of the most famous quotes from the book.
I think it's red. I think it's red, but I think it's yellow.
It's a weird one. A beautiful little fool. That's the best thing in life a girl can be. A beautiful little fool. Lastly, when does Tom first realize that Daisy loves Gatsby? When he sees him kissing at his party, when Daisy tells Gatsby he always looks so cool, when Gatsby blurts it out, or when Nick mentions being alone with them. All right, half of us got it right. Yeah, when they spend the day together in New York and everything, it's so hot. And she's like, you look so cool. You always look so cool. All right, podium.
Awesome effort, aim for the podium.
I feel like we should maybe do it again. Not the best. Let's see, what are the, well, I was gonna say which are the most difficult ones, but it's a lot of them, like half of them. Okay, if I hit play again, they'll have our ghosts. Do we want ghosts?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, yes, because I want to be able to leave my ghost.
Okay. It automatically logs everybody else back in too, so. Your ghost didn't do that great, so.
Yeah.
Let's see if we can do it a little bit better this time. How did Wilson know that the car belonged to Gatsby? Eyewitness, Gatsby admitted it, police tracked it down, or Tom told? Huh? My computer charger doesn't fit your computer.
Oh, bro.
I have one of the newer computers. So.
I need 2 points.
First or last ghost is in the lead. What physical aspect of Gatsby appealed to Nick? Flannel suit, kind eyes, smile, or pink suit?
I've officially passed.
Yeah, that used to be like the height of fashion. I think a pink suit would be great. I like the idea of a pink suit. Yeah.
You're gonna wear pink. You better wear that with gold.
What is Gatsby doing when Nick first sees him? Hosting a party, lunch with Wolfsheim, stretching toward the green light, or creeping? Yeah, they're different. They're in a different order this time. Oh, how weird. Stretching towards the green light. All right, we're getting ahead of our ghosts. What favor does Jordan ask Nick on behalf of Gatsby? Get Tom out, tell Daisy, invite Daisy to a party, invite her to tea. Tea. We're all alive on the board. When does Tom first realize that Daisy loves Gatsby? You always look so cool. Nick says being alone with them, sees him kissing at the party. Gatsby blurts it out. To be fair, Gatsby did blurt it out, but just not, he already had figured it out. You always look so cool. Okay.
Daisy never loved you. She loved me.
Yep.
And
Tom was like, I don't think so.
That's not true, bye-bye.
Nick finds himself attracted to Jordan despite the fact that she is not attracted to him, married, his cousin, or a liar.
I really thought it was his cousin.
Daisy's his cousin. I don't remember if she, I don't think that she was related to Jordan because they were friends like back in Louisville. Gatsby tells Nick that Meyer Wolfsheim is his dad, a bootlegger, a man who rigged the World Series, or a dentist.
Yeah, the team lost the series on purpose because they got paid to do it.
That's wild.
And they got banned from the league.
That is a good question. How much did they get paid?
Sure.
Why does Tom break Myrtle's nose?
Gosh, no, it was 1919.
Oh, it's probably like $1,000.
Yeah.
Yeah, $1,000 a person. I'm gonna Google it and like how much did the Black Sox get paid to throw the series?
It wasn't the whole team though.
Oh, really? It was how many people?
8.
Oh.
But, like,
Talk
the
about Daisy.
most famous
Ooh.
old dude, like 1880s.
What causes a disruption at dinner first night?
Shoeless Joe Jackson.
Shoeless Joe Jackson. They talk about him in Field of Dreams.
Yes, yeah. That's
I swear.
Bo Jackson played in the 70s.
Oh, yeah, Bojack. Unbelievable.
Yeah.
Talking about 1919.
Yeah, that's
Good.
That's a good movie.
Ooh. How does Daisy disappoint when they're in New York?
Oh, 10 people.
Yeah.
Oh, 10 people get together.
I don't remember his name.
Yes, about to get together. And baseball is so strong.
He's massive. He's massive.
You find out little baby jumps.
I don't know, bro.
She cannot say that she never loved Tom. It would be a lie.
Yeah.
Nate, please. It's okay. What is the best thing in the world a girl can be? Good. Why was George Wilson going to take Myrtle out west? He wanted to work on their marriage. Valley of Ashes made him sick. She was having an affair, or she wanted to work on the marriage. Good. Same positions. Which of the following people attended Gatsby's funeral?
Maybe not, maybe not, maybe.
I don't know why he did that. I ain't gonna lie, I would look out. Okay. But she said, she said that. It's like
Half and half. Yeah, Daisy was not there.
At first, she said she was at somewhere and someone took a picture of the car. And they said that she was at somewhere at the
What set Nick apart from the other guests?
The real story is that she broke up with her. Like she just had no more feelings. And she broke up with her. That had to be the one. That had to be the one.
It could have been the one that she lost.
Had to be one with him.
Still not great. Still not great. He received an invitation. A lot of people did not personally know Gatsby. Most people didn't personally know him. They just showed up at his house. And what does Gatsby want Daisy to do?
That's the thing that pretty much like that was weird. That's what people are saying now. Seems so like always do it again.
I mean, to be fair, all of these are kind of true, but he's very specific about one thing. All right, much better. Much better that time.
That's crazy.
Okay. What is?
Javon, Cece,
Awesome episode.
and
You find out.
Glurs. Okay, so the next thing that we're gonna do, look at that, zero difficult questions. The next thing we're gonna do is watch a little crash course about this. There's actually 2 crash courses, but we're just gonna watch one. If you feel like doing some extra review, I would recommend the other one. It's kind of cool how he compares it to Romeo and Juliet. But this is a little under 12 minutes, and then I'll walk you through some of the questions that might show up on the short answer part. And he talks about some of the questions that'll show up on the short answer part.
Hi, I'm John Green. This is Crash Course Literature. So the 2 books most often cited as the great American novel are The Adventures of Huckleberry.
Also, he says the word asshat in here a few times. I hope nobody's offended.
Very thin.
Why would I be offended? This is awesome.
By F. Scott Fitzgerald. The U.S. is a country founded on the principles of freedom and equality. Huck Finn is a novel about slavery and radical inequality. We're also a nation that believes in the American dream. We pride ourselves on our lack of aristocracy and the equality of opportunity. Gatsby is a novel about our de facto aristocracy and the limits of American opportunity. I mean, Daisy Buchanan. Mr. Green, I hate everything about this stupid collection of first world problems passing for a novel, but my hatred of that Willa Catherine loser Daisy Buchanan burns with the fire of 1,000 suns. Oh, me from the past. Here's the thing. You're not supposed to like Daisy Buchanan, at least not in the uncomplicated way that you like, say, cupcakes. By the way, Dad, where are my cupcakes? Not your birthday or merit-bration. Ah, stupid merit-bration only coming once a year. I don't know where you got the idea that the quality of a novel should be judged by the likability likability of its characters, but let me submit to you that Daisy Buchanan doesn't have to be likable to be interesting. Furthermore, most of what makes her unlikable, her sense of entitlement, her limited empathy, her inability to make difficult choices, are the very things that make you unlikable. That's the pleasure and challenge of reading great novels. You get to see yourself as others see you, and you get to see others as they see themselves. So today we're going to focus on the American dream and how it plays out in The Great Gatsby. Spoiler alert, some petals fall off the daisy. So let's begin with the characters. From the first chapter, we know 3 things about our narrator, Nick Carraway. By the way, get it? Carraway. He could have done better. 1, Nick grew up in the Midwest, then moved to New York's West Egg, and then something happened that made him go back to the Midwest. Also, 2, he is prone to the use of highfalutin languages when he introduces Jay Gatsby by saying, Gatsby turned out all right in the end. It was what preyed on Gatsby, what foul dust floated in the wake of his dreams that temporarily closed out my interest in the abortive sorrows and short-winded innovations. That dream, by the way, with all of its foul dust, is the American dream. Finally, 3, Nick is rich, and he got rich not by working, but by having a rich ancestor who paid someone off to serve in the Civil War on his behalf, which allowed Nick's ancestor to spend the Civil War making money. So how's that for equal opportunity? And then there's Gatsby, about whom we learned absolutely nothing in chapter 1, except for the aforementioned foul dust floating in the wake of his dreams, and that he had a, quote, extraordinary gift for hope. This extraordinary gift for hope is the essential fact of Gatsby, and also many romantic leads, from Romeo to Edward Cullen to Henry VIII, who might have given up on several of his wives, but never gave up on the idea of, well, all of these people share a creepy belief that if they just get the thing they want, the thing being a female human being, then they'll finally be happy. We have a word for this. It's called objectification. Then you have the aggressively vapid Daisy Buchanan, Nick's distant cousin, who lives across the bay from Gatsby and Nick in the much more fashionable East Egg. Daisy Buchanan is crazy rich, like polo pony rich, thanks to her marriage to Tom Buchanan. Tom is a former football player and lifelong asshat, who Nick describes as one of those men who achieves such an acute, limited excellence at 21 that everything afterwards savors of anticlimax. Listen, if you're under 21, it might be difficult to apprehend the depths of that burn, but trust me, it's a burn. So soon after the novel begins, Daisy and Tom ask Nick to come over for dinner, where the golfer Jordan Baker is also there, and they have this awful party. And there's this great moment when Tom goes on a racist rant and says, we're Nordics and we've produced all the things that make a civilization, which is hilarious because none of those people has actually produced anything. They didn't make the fancy furniture they're sitting on. They didn't grow or cook the food they're eating. They don't even light their own freaking candles. Anyway, we also learned that Tom has a mistress and that Daisy might not be as stupid as she's letting on, because she looks at her young daughter and famously says, I hope she'll be a fool. That's the best thing a girl can be in this world, a beautiful little fool. Now look, it's difficult to argue that Daisy is a good person. After all, in the novel's climax, she allows Gatsby to take the fall for something she did. But she's a product of a much older American system, one that, for instance, allows rich people to pay poor people to go fight the Civil War for them. Oh, it's time for the open letter? I never noticed this chair was gold before, Stan. It makes me think of wealth, and to a lesser extent, decay. An open letter to the heroic past. But first, let's see what's on top of the secret compartment today. Oh, it's a champagne glass. I love champagne. Dan, there are champagne poppers in here. You put explosive miniature champagne bottles in my champagne glass instead of champagne. Dear heroic past, like champagne poppers, you're always a little bit underwhelming. The thing is, heroic past, which of our pasts was so heroic? Was it the part where we owned other human beings? Was it the part where we fought over the right to own other human beings? Was it Gatsby's jazz age with its fast cars, deliciously illegal alcohol, and rapidly expanding stock portfolios? I mean, the amazing thing about The Great Gatsby is that Fitzgerald didn't know the Great Depression was coming, but his book sure reads like prophecy. The truth, heroic past, is that we may think we want to recreate you, but what we actually want to do is we want to recreate you without all the problems we don't remember. And that's how you ruin your life over a girl you dated for a month 5 years ago. Best wishes, John Green. From that dinner party, it's clear that wealth consumes the rich, but there's also a moment where it becomes clear that wealth consumes the poor. Daisy tells a story about her husband that he used to polish silver for a big family in the city night and day until the caustic silver polish ruined his nose. All right, let's go to the thought bubble. So whenever Nick is hanging out with the mega rich Tom, the parties are always awful. And everybody always wants the kind of status and wealth that Tom Buchanan has, which is hilarious because, of course, Tom is a horrible asshat who makes Paris Hilton look like charming and grounded. But then we get to go to some awesome parties at Gatsby's house on West Egg. And even though Gatsby has the annoying habit of saying old sport all the time and trying to sound upper crusty, he's totally charming. He has a smile that makes you feel he is irresistibly prejudiced in your favor, to quote Nick. The first party at Gatsby's house also contains, despite being set during Prohibition, the greatest drunk driving scene in the history of American literature, in which a guy gets in an accident like 3 seconds after getting into his car, and even though the wheel has fallen off the car, he keeps trying to drive it. To Fitzgerald, that had become the American dream by the 1920s. Everyone wanted enough money to buy fancy cars and enough whiskey to crash them. But Gatsby, tellingly, doesn't drink. He's never even used his pool, well, until the very end of the novel. All the money he's acquired and all the parties he throws are about one thing and one thing only: winning back Daisy Buchanan. There's a flashback in the novel to Gatsby's first meeting with Daisy. And when you hear Gatsby tell that story, it's very telling that it's hard to understand whether Gatsby is falling for Daisy or for her mansion. But when they finally reunite years later and Gatsby has a mansion of his own, everything is yellow. Gatsby's car is yellow, his tie, the buttons on Daisy's dress. At one point, Nick, who's third-wheeling it big time in this scene, describes some flowers as smelling like pale gold. What does that even mean? Thanks, Bob. So the most famous color symbol in The Great Gatsby is the green light at the end of Daisy's dock that Gatsby's always looking out at from across the bay. Gatsby just wants to reach across the bay and get to that green light, and if he can, he believes that he will have the girl and the life that has driven his wild ambition. Nick calls that green light at one point an enchanted object. And that's what symbols really are in both literature and real life. So yes, the green light is a symbol in Gatsby, but this isn't only stuff that happens in novels. We all have enchanted objects in our lives. On the night that I got engaged, I drank champagne with the woman who is now my wife, and I still have the cork from that champagne bottle. I'm lying. I couldn't afford corky champagne. It was twist-off champagne, but I still have the bottle cap. So just as the green light is an enchanted object, gold and yellow are enchanted colors in Gatsby. And also, for the record, in real life. I mean, think of golden opportunities, or golden ages, or your golden youth, or the golden arches. Unless you're at McDonald's, gold is the color that conflates wealth and beauty. But while in our culture, the yellow color of gold is seen as telling us that wealth is beauty and beauty wealth, in the novel, The Great Gatsby, it's a bit different. In the novel, yellow is the color not only of wealth, but also of death. Myrtle Wilson's house is yellow. The eyes of Dr. T.J. Ethelbert, which stare over so much death in the novel in so many ways, are ringed in yellow glasses. Gatsby's car, that fatal missile, is yellow. Now that may seem like symbol hunting to you, but I'd argue it's really important to understand that Fitzgerald is using gold to decouple the ideas of wealth and greatness. And instead, he's associating richness with corruption and amorality and finally death. In the Roaring '20s and today, wealth was seen as profoundly good. It was seen as an end that justified most means. Wealth was the American dream, but the foul dust that trailed in the wake of those dreams, the casual destruction, the cyclical violence, the erosion of altruism, make it clear that at least to Fitzgerald, wealth isn't simply good. The last chapter of The Great Gatsby is one of the saddest passages in American literature, showing how difficult it is to distinguish between guilt and innocence, and how intractably unfair our society is, even if we don't have barons and duchesses. I mean, some people argue that Gatsby couldn't live the American dream because he didn't come by his money honestly, but who in the novel did come by their money honestly? And you can argue that Gatsby fails because nothing is ever enough. It's not enough for Daisy to love him. She must also say that she never loved Tom. But this is America, man. When was enough ever enough for us? We invented supersizing. I mean, we invented the stretch limousine. We invented the Hummer. And then we invented the Hummer stretch limousine. We all believe, as Nick says at the end of the novel, that if we can only run faster, stretch out our arms farther than one fine morning, we've come to believe in this American dream, not just in the United States, but throughout the world. We understand that much will be lost in pursuit of this dream, not just that butlers' noses will be ruined, but that vast valleys of ashes will pile up outside of our cities as we consume ever more stuff. We know this is unsustainable. We know that these parties can't last forever and that we won't be able to drive home in our three-wheeled cars. But still, we press on. Next week, we'll consider whether Gatsby's quest, and ours, is a heroic one. But for now, I just want to encourage you not to dismiss the characters in this novel simply because they may seem different from you. At one point, Nick recalls all the people who would go to those great parties and sneer most bitterly at Gatsby on the courage of Gatsby's liquor. Let me submit to you that those of us who would sneer at Gatsby do so on the courage of his liquor, because the truth is, we all share his ambition. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next week.
Thank you, John Green. Okay, so I like a couple of things that he says. I liked that he pointed out Daisy's whole thing about being a beautiful little fool, because we never really talked about that very much. But I think Daisy puts on this facade of being like, you know, kind of carefree and just like lovely and beautiful, and that's all that really matters. But she's actually a good deal smarter than that. And I mean, we know that because of how she kind of like plays out her options. She's not just doing whatever blindly. She's making decisions along the way, decisions that we may or may not agree with. But she's kind of saying like, it's great for a little girl to be a beautiful little fool, because basically ignorance is bliss. And if you're smart enough to understand how crappy and disillusioning life can be, then you're going to set yourself up for a lot more heartache. If you were just too dumb to know better, that would be preferable. The other thing, I like that he talked so much about color symbolism, and I wish we had more time to do stuff with that. But, you know, the idea that we see gold as this like beautiful, unattainable combination of wealth and beauty. And this book kind of breaks that down. And what? Everybody else is here. He's the only virtual person.
Damn right.
Yeah. Why am I not hearing you through this? That's weird. It doesn't matter. So I like that. I'm gonna disconnect from this because I want to just briefly run through a few questions with you guys. He talked a bit about the green light when he was talking about color symbolism and the gold stuff. What do you think the green light represents to Gatsby? Daisy? Him getting Daisy? Yeah, this kind of like, it's like a goal. And you know, a green light could mean something different to somebody else. But, you know, I think it's really telling in that one point where she has come over to his house and Gatsby's just looking at the green light like it's not anything anymore, because it held so much symbolism for him when she was this unattainable goal. But now he doesn't have to hope anymore because he's got what he wants. How did we know that Nick was sort of an unreliable narrator? He did have extreme opinions about people, which that in itself is okay. He did not have an affair, although he did date someone who was absolutely a liar. In the beginning, he said a thing about himself, and then everything he said after that contradicted it. What did he say? Do you guys remember? He's telling us about himself in the very first chapter, maybe even the very first page. I'm going to go back and look. We don't have a physical copy. We do have a few physical copies up there, but he said when his dad said, remember, whenever you feel like criticizing anyone, just remember that all the people in the world haven't had the advantages that you've had. And he said, in consequence, I'm inclined to reserve all judgments, a habit that's opened up many curious natures to me, bless you, and also made me the victim of not a few veteran bores. But he's saying he doesn't judge people. And then literally the rest of his introduction is him judging people. So we know right off the bat that he doesn't have the self-awareness to tell us the story truthfully. And he's already cast judgment on everyone except for Gatsby, which is interesting because he loves Gatsby, and Gatsby is not innocent. I mean,
far from it. So Nick is the unreliable narrator.
This is the unreliable narrator for sure. Gatsby is infinitely preferable to Tom, but he's not innocent, you know. Who was it? One of you guys yesterday said, I think it was Jenny, he's a bad guy, or he's he's not a good guy, but he's a good person. Yeah, I like that. Why did Gatsby throw all these insane parties? What was the point?
What?
He was just hoping that Daisy would show up one day. At the end, Jordan says that she finally met another bad driver. What did she mean by that?
She can't drive herself.
But not literally.
No, like, I think I know.
What do you think?
Like a bad person that goes about their life.
Yeah, yeah, she's talking to Nick, and earlier they had this conversation sort of literally about like the fact that she was a bad driver, and she's like, as long as everybody else is careful, I don't have to worry. But then at the end, she kind of makes it into this metaphor about the way he's treated her, and that she didn't like that he was so careless with her. What about the eyes of Dr. T.J. Eckelberg? What's that about?
Because he's seen a lot of stuff.
Seen a lot of stuff. Standing over or watching over the valley of an optometrist. Just he wasn't even, I mean, it was just a billboard that was meant to represent, you know, sort of God looking down the valley of ashes, which is where all the bad stuff happens, basically. Yeah, the eyes of Dr. T.J. Eckelberg.
It reminds me of like Tecklenburg.
Yeah, it does. Mayor Tecklenburg. Okay, what does it mean when they say that Gatsby wanted to recover something, some idea of himself perhaps that had gone into loving Daisy? What does that mean?
Well, he wanted to find that person.
Yes, exactly. It's about so much more than just her and being with her. It's about recovering who he used to be. And I actually liked what John Green said about it when he was like, he didn't just want to recover who he was, or he didn't want to just relive the past. He wanted to relive the past, but forgetting about all of the bad stuff that happened in the past. He had this very like romanticized idea. All right, that's it. I'm gonna let you guys go. The bell's gonna ring in just a minute. I'll give you the test on Tuesday. Nope, Monday. No, it's not.
Let Miss McCollum.
See ya.
It's been looking like